everyone. I'm Sheriff Wayne Ivey of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and it's time for another exciting episode of On the Go with BCSO-Podcast, where we go behind the scenes at the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, talk to some of our units, get to see all the different things, different components of the agency. As always, on our podcast, I got Jay Martinez from our Crime Prevention Unit with me. Jay, how you doing this morning?
All right, pretty good.
All right, man. How are things in crime prevention, community relations? You're knocking it out of the park out there?
Oh, yeah, we're doing well.
All right.
We're gearing up for a couple special events towards the end of the year here. So.
All right, good deal. So, well, today we have Teresa Revel with us, and Teresa, you have a very unique job at the Sheriff's Office. Tell us what you do.
Well, I'm the food service manager at the kitchen.
All right. So now, while she says food service manager, what that really means is you run all the meals at our jail. With we have right at 1,800 inmates. And your team that you do it with are the inmates. You actually supervise all the inmate work crews on the kitchen side of it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So how did you get in that job? How was that? Did you check that box right out of high school and say, tell your guidance counselor, this is what I want to do one day? Or?
No, I was ready for something more challenging in my career.
All right. So you've been with the Sheriff's Office how long?
25 years in December.
25 years. All right. Excellent. So, Jay, were you? Yeah, you were born when she started.
Just barely again.
Yeah. So, man, one day we're going to get somebody that's only been here like a week and that you've been here longer. So, so I know you actually started at the jail complex. At one point, I know when I first came here, you were one of the admin executive assistants out at the admin, helping run the day-to-day operations, and then boom, now you go to this. So
that's right. I actually started out in comm center.
In comm center,
yeah.
Excellent.
I moved from comm center to the desk officer at West Precinct, then a senior office assistant for the road patrol, and then I transferred over to career development at the time at the jail.
Wow.
And then from there I went to assist the majors, then the commander, and then I decided to
take on this new challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you look at your job, your day, kind of walk everybody that's listening, walk them through that. What's it encompass?
Well, it involves ordering all the food for the jail. Basically, that's one of my the first thing I have to do once I get there on Monday through Friday. I have to order all of the food, which may consist not only the food products, but also the paper products and all the chemicals that's necessary and required to run the kitchen. All
right, so let's talk about ordering all the food. Mm-hmm. Give everybody an idea of how much food goes into that process out. 1,800 inmates, 3 meals a day. And I always tell everybody, don't take this personal, but I always tell everybody, I take great pride in serving the worst food in any jail in the world. So that's not a reflection on your cooking ability, Teresa. I just want to point that out. But how much food do we go through?
We go through approximately 20 grand a week.
20 grand a week
minimum.
To feed the inmates. Mm-hmm. So 20 grand minimum, you're telling me. What type of food? At one time, I know potatoes was one of the biggest things that we used. Well,
we serve potatoes for breakfast every day.
All right.
So that's one of the costly products. But we also serve for breakfast. It will consist of grits and oatmeal or coffee cake or biscuits.
Coffee cake?
Yeah.
Man, Jay don't even get coffee cake.
That's their favorite. Actually, it's muffins.
All right. That's a little bit more palatable for me, coffee cake. So.
That's how they dress it up. They call it coffee cake. It's not coffee cake.
It's toast sitting beside a cup of coffee. So.
Well, that's their favorite, I should say. And we'll also serve them boiled eggs as well for breakfast. For lunch, it will consist of sandwiches every day. Sandwiches.
What kind of sandwiches?
It's bologna sandwiches or bologna and cheese or peanut butter.
All right.
And then for dinner, we'll serve them either an entree or a meat with a vegetable and a side, which will consist of, say, for instance, an entree can be like a chicken a la king, basically. And you can have a hot dog with beans, barbecue beans or green beans, or you can have meat, a hamburger, which will be...
So... basically, they're going to get a protein product and then
starches,
beans or something.
And vegetable.
All right, so this brings me to one of my favorite parts of our jail. We have a protein product out there called the protein loaf. Is that right?
Yep.
What's in the protein loaf? Because I know Jay loves that.
Well, first, I want to know why the protein loaf. Like, because you're saying chicken a la king, beans and weenies. I mean, this sounds like good stuff. So you're telling me at some point someone's going to be fed up with this food, or somehow get rid of this food and say, I don't want this. I'm not eating this worst meal anymore. So they get rid of that in frustration or anger or whatever it is, or disciplinary issue, and we have this disciplined loaf.
Well, it's a special management meal.
Special management meal. That's good.
Special management meal is the facility provides that for violations within 24 hours of an inmate who has violent tendencies and that may possibly throw a tray or throw beverages or food or even human waste, basically.
Wow.
So they provide them with this loaf.
All right. So what's in the loaf?
The loaf, you have kidney beans, you have
Kidney beans.
oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
You have flour and eggs, and I can't remember every detail of what's.
How's it taste?
I heard it tastes pretty good.
I heard.
The interesting thing about it, nutritionally, it's probably one of the most balanced or nutritionally perfect meals that we have, right? Because it has, when you put someone on that, it has everything that you could possibly need in your diet in that
meal.
loaf.
Yeah. And it does meet the U.S. dietary standards, so we're clear with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, all right. So the simple lesson here is don't throw your tray. I mean, just follow the rules. That'll help a long way. So, all right. So, how many inmates are working throughout the day? Because it's pretty much around the clock process.
It's a 24-hour.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we start feeding breakfast about 3:30 in the morning, don't we?
Yes.
All right. And why? Why do we feed breakfast so early? Is it just because of the volume of people we have?
Not just that, because of the time it takes to deliver to each pod, because we have, like you say, it can be a maximum of 1,800 inmates. So once you start pushing out at 3 o'clock, it may be another hour or two before you manage to get around to everyone.
Right. Yeah, because we have the 5 main pods, and then you have medical, and you have the female annex, and
then
the tents, 4 tents. So it's a pretty drawn out process to get it all. So how many inmates come and go during that 24-hour period?
Well, we have two shifts, and each shift we're allowed to have 16 inmates.
16 inmates in there.
To help us prepare the meals.
Yeah, Jay, have you ever been in the kitchen there? It's massive. I mean, it's the big cookers and everything else in there.
I remember when I first started, they had this giant, almost like a vat of beans, and you got people working on the beans, and you got their stations, and they have to use regular cutlery, so it's not something you normally see from the law enforcement side. When you see someone who is in custody or even on the street, and they have something that could be a butcher knife, you look at that and you're like, oh, but in the kitchen situation, it's a little bit different. That's the tools of the trade there, and it's interesting to see how you guys work through that and how you're able to provide those things, but still in a safe way for everyone else.
Yes, it's a commercial-sized kitchen and has commercial-sized equipment as well, and we don't have to worry about butcher knives. We have dough cutters.
Dough cutters, okay.
No sharp objects used in the kitchen.
Now, to work in the kitchen, do they have to be at a certain classification?
Yes, our classification unit has to authorize them to work in the kitchen, and then they have to be medically cleared as well.
So, and by classification, where we're talking about the certain type of crime, they can't have committed certain type of crime. They have to be
misdemeanor or nonviolent felonies.
Okay, so I mean, we through classifications, which is a big part of what we do out at the jail, we're able to somewhat identify their abilities to go into that environment and work and be safe and everything else.
Yes, it's a long process. It's not like you get arrested and they say, oh, I would like to work in the kitchen, and they allow them to do that. No, they have to go through the procedures of classification. They have a long checklist to make sure that they're safe, that we're safe with them, and that they don't violate any of our procedures.
Right. What's the biggest challenge
in working in the kitchen?
Yeah, for you as a supervisor of that group, what's the biggest challenge as a manager?
I'd say keeping my staff happy.
Keeping them happy. Now, I'm just kind of curious. When you work in the kitchen, you obviously get better meals, or you at least get more access to food. Is that right, or do they get to?
You mean the staff?
The inmates that are working there, do they get to sample the food a little bit more? And
well, not necessarily, because They prepare the meals and they push it out, and they eat the same meals just like the rest of the inmates in the population. So there are occasions, if there's leftovers from the staff, they may receive some of that.
All right. So when we talk about challenges, I know you've had a couple challenges thrown at you. In fact, when I asked what's the biggest challenge, I kind of thought you were going to say whenever I call and want you to make something out there, because that's happened a couple of times here. So let's talk about the first one, which was our team now makes doggy ice cream that we use inmate labor to do.
Yes.
So we make the doggy ice cream. And then it goes down to our animal care center, and they use it to help socialize the dogs and everything. How is that process?
Well, basically, it's a simple ingredient. You put yogurt and peanut butter, and we put a little flavor of orange in one to make it like 3 different flavors.
Right.
And basically, you just mix the ingredients together, and you just keep it chilled.
Yeah, because we came up with some flavors for it. We had Orange You Glad You Adopted Me. I think we had Paul Berry. And we had some different flavors there that we came up with. And it's a hit. I mean, the dogs love it, but it's also a great tool for people when they're socializing, trying to see if that dog fits with the family and everything. Yeah. They can kind of feed the dog and stuff. And not only do we use inmate labor to make it, so we're making it extremely cheap, but we also, Grimaldi's Chocolate donated the containers for us to put it in, and Appliance Direct donated a freezer for us to keep it in down there. So no cost to the taxpayers, but we're able to use inmate labor to produce this and use it as a tool down there. So now the second challenge that has come up, you're still working on, you're fine-tuning a little bit. Is that correct?
Pretty much. We're ready.
You think you're ready?
We're ready.
All right, because Jay and I are going to come out and we're going to decide. So that challenge is actually to be able to make donuts. Actually, we call them power rings now. But we wanted to make donuts for our milk and donuts with the sheriff that we do at our elementary schools. And so we wanted to be able to use inmate labor to make it, and then take the donuts to the schools and let the kids have a chance to talk to Jay and I in the setting that we go in. And so how's it coming? Do you think it's the right recipe? You think you got it?
Well, I have 2 for you to choose from.
Okay, what are they?
You have, both of them are glazed donuts.
Okay.
One is made from scratch, and then the second one is already cooked, and all we have to do is bake it.
Oh, okay. So
we'll
we're going to come out and have a little test on those. All right. So, I don't think most people realize, and we talked about, those 2 examples of using inmate labor, but if we had to do what we do at that kitchen out there without inmate labor, if we had to employ the people that are working that 24 hours around the clock, it'd be a substantial cost to us.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, so, you're managing the inmates. How do they feel about it? Do they like doing it? Is it something they enjoy? Or
the inmates look forward to coming out there because it gives them opportunity to get away from the tents, and they get to interact with other inmates doing something that they like. So it keeps them busy. It's not a slow job. It keeps them busy throughout the day, and I think that we often get people requesting to come out there. So although I can't approve them, the classification unit has to. I just refer them to them.
Now, we're also teaching them a trade. We're teaching them a culinary skill that they can take back out and hopefully get a job somewhere and become a productive member of society and not come back to us. That's the ultimate goal on our recidivism rate. So do some of them come in there that already have that skill set? I mean,
yes, you do have some that has the experience already, and then you have some that doesn't know how to boil water.
Really?
Yes. So we take the time and we teach them how to prepare the meals according to our menus. So, and they enjoy it. Some of them really like coming back. Unfortunately, over and over again.
Yeah. Ideally, they don't come back. So, from your perspective, Teresa, what's the how does that feel? I mean, you're helping somebody that obviously has put themselves where they are, has gotten in trouble, but you're able to give them something back. So how does that kind of play out for you and your actual employees, not just the inmates there, but your staff that works for you? How does that play out for you guys?
It plays out well because we like the fact that we're able to help them in some kind of way, to give them something to remember once they're gone, to refer to, and to know that they did something good by helping others within jail and other trustees as well.
So now the inmates that work for you, they stay in the tents out. And for most people, when we talk about tents, I think they have the mindset of the tents like we're on the movie MASH or like you go camping in, but they're actually pretty sound structures that we call the tents. But so they're out there and they work 12-hour shifts. Is that right?
No, they actually work a 10-hour shift.
10-hour shift.
Yes, they come to the kitchen probably about 7:30 in the morning, and then they're out of there between 4:30 and 5:30.
All right. So walk me through. Jay's an inmate, and walk me through his day. What's it going to be like?
Okay, once they arrive to the kitchen, prior to their arrival, the food service crew supervisors already assigned them to where they're going to work at for the day. So once they come in, we check their hands for hand communicable disease to make sure that they're clear.
So you're physically checking?
Yes, you have to visually look at it and improve on it and make sure that they're all right.
Every day?
Yes,
Okay.
each shift.
Okay.
So once they come in, then they assign them to their location. You have a pit location, you have a baker's location, you have a special diets location.
All right, so let's back up. Pit location.
That's where you wash all the incoming utensils, whether it be the cambros and the trays. They have to wash all of them in the pit location. Rinse it, including carts. They rinse it all, and then you have a wash, rinse, and sanitize location where they wash, rinse, and sanitize it, and then they process it through a dishwasher.
All right, so I think you could do that.
Yeah, I could probably
So far, I feel good about you and the pit. All right, so the next location.
Other than that, you have the cook's location, which is along where the kettles are, where you're cooking the main course of the meal, whether it be meat or vegetables or starch.
Okay.
And then basically they have to prepare that. You assign them to the kettle, so they're considered the cook for the day.
Oh, you're definitely not doing
Yeah, cook, not chef. It's
Yeah,
different.
let's go to something else.
Okay, then you have the bakers. You have the bakers who will cook either biscuits or cake or cornbread, basically. So we have this huge commercial size mixer that they have to mix the batter together, and they prepare each sheet pan with the item that they're cooking for that day, and they have to bake it.
Okay. All right.
You said you peanut butter sandwiches.
That's for, actually we prepare the lunch in the evening while they're
Okay.
preparing breakfast. So we have a lunch line that we assign trustees to in the evening.
Yeah, yeah.
And they
And
make
they're
all the
just slinging
sandwiches.
peanut butter in there. And just,
Well, actually we pre-make the peanut butter because the peanut butter in the jelly is mixed prior to the evening shift. We make it during the day, and then we store it and cool it down in the cooler for them to put it on the sandwiches because it's a lot easier to scoop one item versus peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, it's like a goober.
Yeah.
like the peanut butter jelly. In the
Yeah.
same.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think you could do that. I think
yeah.
you could. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
no.
There's a technique to it, but I think
Right.
So we got the pit, we got the cook, we got the bakers. What else?
Then you have the special diet station where you have the medical nutrition therapy diets that's made for inmates who may have medical issues, that may have allergies, or that may have religious beliefs.
Okay.
So that station, we make it, we assign 2 inmates, 2 trustees to prepare those meals. And it can consist of vegetables versus meat, can consist of salads. Say, for instance, like a vegan, they would get beans and rice and vegetables versus the main course meal, which might be chicken patties and rice and beans,
Okay.
basically.
We do anything keto friendly out there? I'm just wondering. So, yeah. I mean, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You know, so, do they come in every day, Teresa, and do they work the same thing? So, if Jay's there, is he always going to be on pit, or do we rotate it around?
No, we do rotate them around because you don't want one to feel like he's the chef of the day, attention. So
yeah.
we do have to rotate them around so that they know how to do each job in the kitchen.
So the person that is the chef, though, they're feeling good about themselves that day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just remember, you ain't gonna be the chef tomorrow.
And not only that, we also have guys that's assigned to the warehouse who basically restocks our shelves on a daily basis.
Wow. So I mean, it's a full commercial kitchen out there that you would see at any big hotel or any big restaurant or anything else. It's and probably more than any place else because we're feeding 1,800 people every day, 3 times a day out there.
Yeah.
So when you look at all the different things that go in, like you said, the special diets, the volume of stuff we're producing, the way we're producing it, it's an amazing process. I always tell everybody that the jail is kind of like an aircraft carrier. It's a city to itself. You know, it's got all these inner components that most people don't even know exist. You know, or even if they do, they don't think about the volume that you guys have to do. So it's quite the undertaking to be able to pull that off each and every day. And as you said, you know, ordering $20,000 worth of food and supplies, you know, each week. And so
it takes a lot of pre-planning because, you know, we do have a pre-planned 28-day cycle menu.
Right.
That helps us a lot because you go by that each day and it's all sorted out on the shelves as far as what the staff has to pull for the ingredients. So it takes a lot of pre-planning.
Right. We've had some problems, but all of them have been Mother Nature driven with the farm flooding and stuff. But here, thankfully, knock on some wood, we've been blessed to have some good opportunities to grow out there. We grow potatoes out there. How much does that help lower that $20,000 or at least not go up? I should say. What volume do we do out there?
Usually when potatoes are provided by the farm, it'll give me 1 to 2 runs of potatoes. And like I said, we do potatoes every day. And if I was to purchase potatoes, it would be 18 bags of potatoes. So you would provide the difference on that for 2 days at least.
Wow. That's because I know when they do a run of potatoes out there, sometimes it's about 30,000 pounds is what they're bringing in. So of the red potatoes that they're growing. So what other big staples do we use out there? Potatoes.
Well, we're using potatoes, you're using beans. Like I say, for the main course meal, we're always cooking grits. We're always cooking oatmeal. We're always cooking cornbread or biscuits and rice and pinto beans. So those are the main staples
that we're going to use every day. Yeah. Wow. So, well, I know we're getting close on our time, and I don't want to end the show without saying to you how much we appreciate all you do. Not only your years of service here to the agency, but just I know better than probably most the volume of work you have to do out there and the time that you're out there leading your team and the challenges you face, and we greatly appreciate it. You do a good job out there, and like you said, you know, if we can offer a skill set, some specialized training that hopefully helps them go back out and get a job and not end up back with us. That's even a step better of being able to do it. So, Teresa, I appreciate it. Thank you for all you do, and I'm gonna sign off for Jay and I. And as I always tell everybody, we could not ask for better support from our community. We are truly blessed to serve as law enforcement officers here in Brevard County. So, thank you for all the incredible support you give us, and we'll see you next time on the Go with BCSO.